I don't think I've ever told this story, but my friend was videotaping, and I started talking to him about her. And then I was done. And I was literally done. Then I talked for about 10, 15 minutes.
Whenever Kevin Costner walked onto a movie set, people noticed. With his calm voice, strong presence, and quiet charm, he quickly became one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But behind the fame, awards, and luxurious homes, Kevin was hiding a deep heartbreak. Now at 68 and newly divorced, he's finally opening up, and what he said has surprised fans and even shocked many in Hollywood. He's speaking about the one woman he never stopped loving. It's not who most people expected, and this isn't just a love story. It's a story of regret, timing, and what could have been. So who was she, and why is Kevin talking now? Stay with us, because his confession will leave you speechless. Kevin Costner's rise to fame was anything but ordinary. From the very beginning, his life was far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Born on January 18, 1955, in Linwood, California, Kevin was the youngest of three boys. His father, William Costner, worked modest jobs, while his mother, Sharon, stayed home to raise a family. They didn't have much, but they had love. As a child, Kevin's family moved often, living in towns like Compton and Ventura. Life wasn't easy. He wasn't a top student or an athletic star, but there was something special about him. Quiet and introspective, he liked to be alone, to write, to dream. He penned poems and imagined worlds, never realizing those quiet dreams were just beginning. Kevin later attended California State University in Fullerton, studying business, a smart choice, but not what his heart truly desired. Deep down, he wanted to act. He wanted to tell stories, to show something real. After graduation, fate stepped in. On a small plane ride, Kevin sat next to a man who worked in the film industry. Kevin confided his dream, and the man offered simple but life-changing advice. Give acting a try. Still, the road ahead wasn't easy. Kevin had no connections, no money, and no one backing him. He worked on fishing boats, drove trucks, gave tours at movie studios, and took acting classes at night. Roles were scarce, and sometimes the scenes didn't even make the final cut. But he never gave up. His breakthrough came with a forgotten role in The Big Chill. He played a dead friend, and his face didn't even appear on screen. But the director remembered him and later cast him in Silver Dew, 1985, where Kevin played a fiery cowboy. Audiences noticed. Hollywood began to take interest. Then came The Untouchables, 1987, where he starred alongside Sean Connery and Robert De Niro as Elliot Ness. Kevin's calm and grounded performance made an impression. Bull Durham, 1988, and Field of Dreams, 1989, followed, solidifying his image as a strong, quiet dreamer, especially in Field of Dreams, where his character hears a voice in a cornfield. If you build it, he will come. It was strange, hopeful, and people loved it. But it was Dances with Wolves in 1990 that defined his career. Kevin didn't just star in it, he directed it too. It was long, it was quiet, and many thought it would fail. But Kevin believed in it. His belief paid off. The film won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Picture. Kevin Costner had arrived, not just as a Hollywood star, but as a man who had followed his heart all the way to the top. Still, behind the scenes, his love life told a very different story. For nearly 40 years, Kevin Costner played roles that audiences admired: cowboys, bodyguards, baseball players, heroes. But off-screen, the reality was more complicated. Behind the fame and stoic characters was a man still trying to figure out love, loss, and what it truly means to be there for someone. And to understand Kevin's love story, we have to go back, not to Hollywood, but to a college campus in California, and a young woman named Cindy Silver. It all started in 1975. Kevin wasn't famous or rich. He was just a young man with a dream, and a crush. Cindy was beautiful, kind, and intelligent, the kind of woman who made Kevin want to be a better man. He once said she was everything he admired in women, and he was proud when she agreed to date him. They married in 1978. Life was tough at first. While Kevin chased acting gigs, Cindy worked hard to support them. She believed in him when no one else did. 4 years, it was just the two of them against the world. Then, the world started to notice. With The Untouchables, Bull Durham, and Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner became a household name. But as his star rose, the pressure mounted, and the love story that began in college was about to be tested like never before. Fame, heartbreak, and the one that got away. With fame came temptation. The pressure of Hollywood didn't just change Kevin Costner's life, it tested his marriage. Rumors began to swirl that the man who once held Cindy close was beginning to drift away. And in 1994, after 16 years of marriage and 3 children, Kevin and Cindy divorced. The settlement Cindy received was $80 million, but the emotional toll was far greater. Kevin later admitted that the split shook his faith, not just in love, but in himself. He had built an image of the American hero, only to watch his personal life fall apart behind the scenes. His children, Annie, Lily, and Joe, were caught in the middle, and for Kevin, that was the deepest wound of all. After the divorce, Kevin entered a difficult chapter. He wasn't just heartbroken, he was lost. His career wobbled, and his personal life was in disarray. In the mid-1990s, he dated a few women, but none of those relationships lasted. It was as if he couldn't bring himself to love again after what happened with Cindy. Then came Bridget Rooney, and though their relationship was brief, it led to the birth of his son Liam in 1996. Still, the arrival of another child didn't bring him stability. People close to Kevin said he seemed unsure of himself. Off-screen, he was nothing like the steady romantic heroes he portrayed. Even actor Ben Affleck once said that he and Matt Damon weren't sure Kevin remembered working with him on Field of Dreams. A small comment, but one that raised quiet concern. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, came Elle Macpherson. The world-famous supermodel and Kevin began dating in 1996, and their relationship moved quickly. They even lived together. Kevin once said it was his equal, beautiful, smart, and kind. But by the end of that year, it was over. Friends believed Kevin had never truly let go of Cindy. Even though their marriage had ended badly, he missed the honesty and simplicity of the love they shared when they were young and struggling. That feeling was hard to find again. Professionally, things weren't going well either. Waterworld flopped, and The Postman fared even worse. Kevin Costner, once the king of Hollywood, was losing ground. And with no solid home life to fall back on, it showed. His world, both personal and professional, was falling apart. But then, something unexpected happened. In 1998, Kevin met Christine Baumgartner. She was a model and handbag designer, 20 years younger than him. This time, things felt different. Kevin looked happy again, like he finally saw a future with someone. Still, it wasn't perfect. They dated for 4 years before breaking up in 2002. But by 2004, they were married at Kevin's sprawling ranch in Aspen, Colorado. Together, they had 3 children, Caden, Hayes, and Grace. For nearly 2 decades, it seemed Kevin had finally found peace. He often praised Christine in interviews, calling her his true partner and the foundation of his life. However, even with all that love at home, trouble quietly crept back in. Kevin's acting career had reignited thanks to Yellowstone, and he was also working on his passion project, Horizon. Once again, he was being pulled in 2 directions, work and family. The very same imbalance that ended his first marriage had returned. And in May 2023, fans were stunned when Christine Baumgartner filed for divorce after 18 years of marriage. The divorce was messy and painfully public. They battled over homes, money, and custody. Headlines exploded as one of Hollywood's most private couples unraveled before the world. Insiders said the root issue was time. Kevin was rarely home, constantly consumed by Yellowstone and Horizon. The distance grew too wide. Kevin didn't want the divorce. Those close to him said he was heartbroken and would have done anything to save the marriage. When he finally spoke, his words were few, but the pain was clear. Later that year, while promoting Horizon, people noticed a change in Kevin. He still smiled, still spoke with calm assurance, but he seemed quieter, more reflective. In interviews, he opened up more than usual about the difficulty of chasing dreams while also trying to be a good father and husband. He said his kids were his focus now, that he had to stay strong for them, to keep showing up, to keep listening. But then, something unexpected happened. While still dealing with the fallout of his divorce, Kevin made a quiet, emotional confession. It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it changed how people saw him. He revealed how heartbroken he was, not over a new love, not over a fling from the past, but over the relationship he had just lost. Many assumed he was still mourning Cindy, his first love, but Kevin clarified that the heartbreak came from his marriage to Christine. For 20 years, they had built a quiet life far from the chaos of Hollywood. They raised children together, shared routines, created memories, and built a home filled with laughter and love. Kevin had always said that being a family man meant more to him than any award. This wasn't just another failed relationship. It was the one he believed would last. And when Christine asked him for a divorce, it shattered something in him. When Christine Baumgartner asked Kevin Costner for divorce in 2023, it was as if his entire world came to a halt. Everything he had worked so hard to build, his home, his family, his future, suddenly felt like it was slipping through his fingers. The most shocking part was the lack of warning. There were no public fights, no tabloid scandals, no dramatic signs of trouble. To those on the outside, it seemed to come out of nowhere. Kevin was left reeling, shocked, hurt, and deeply confused. One moment, he had a partner by his side. The next, he was facing an uncertain future alone. As mentioned earlier, the divorce wasn't messy because of greed or material demands. It was messy because Kevin didn't want to let go, not of the house or the money, but of the life they had built together. The years of love, the memories, the children they raised, it all meant everything to him. Letting go of that was like letting go of part of himself. He didn't have the word to express the depth of that pain. All he had was a crushing weight of reality settling in. Then came a twist that made the heartbreak even harder to bear. Just a few months after the divorce was finalized, Christine was seen with someone new, Josh Connor. But Josh wasn't just a random new love interest. He was someone Kevin had known for years, a neighbor, a friend, someone who had once been close to both Kevin and Christine. To Kevin, it felt like a betrayal. As an insider close to him put it, it felt like he'd been stabbed in the back. And to many watching from the outside, that's exactly how it looked. Kevin hadn't just lost his wife. He'd lost her to someone he had once trusted. For a man who had always valued his privacy, Kevin did something rare. During an interview with CBS, he opened up. He spoke, with quiet honesty, about the pain he was feeling. He didn't dramatize it, and he didn't play the victim. He simply admitted how hard it all was, and how he was doing his best to move forward, day by day. But moving on isn't easy, especially when your heart is still stuck in the past. Behind the scenes, Kevin poured himself into his work. He had begun filming Horizon, an American saga, a sweeping Western film he had dreamed of making for years. It was a massive, expensive project, and it was personal. The movie was about courage, history, and the American spirit. But while the cameras rolled, Kevin was fighting a private battle. He was directing a film about resilience while trying to find the strength to rebuild his own shattered life. As time passed, the public began to wonder, was Kevin dating again? Had he found someone new? Rumors swirled when he was seen smiling and laughing with singer Jewel. They had been spotted together at events, appearing relaxed in clothes. The media jumped on it, suggesting Kevin had moved on. But Kevin was quick to shut those rumors down. He clarified that he and Jewel were just friends, nothing more. The truth was, Kevin was still healing. The pain from his divorce with Christine wasn't something that could be swept away by distractions or buried in new projects. It was deep and enduring, the kind of heartbreak that lingers and makes you question everything you thought you understood about love, loyalty, and life. In that silence, away from the cameras, away from the noise, Kevin turned to someone from long ago. Someone who had once meant everything to him. Cindy Silver, his first wife, his college sweetheart, the woman he had once called the love of his life. Their marriage had ended decades ago, and both had gone on to live different lives. But some connections never fade. Some hearts never truly forget. As Kevin tried to make sense of his second divorce, Cindy quietly re-entered his life. They began talking again, slowly, cautiously. At first, it was just check-ins, then longer conversations. Not about rekindling romance or pretending the past hadn't happened, but about comfort, familiarity, understanding. Cindy was there to listen, to support, to remind Kevin of the version of himself he had once been. For Kevin, that meant everything. Because sometimes you don't need someone to fix what's broken. You just need someone who understands where the pain comes from. But as those conversations grew deeper, Kevin couldn't help but wonder, was there still a chance? Could they, after all these years, find a way back to each other? He wanted to believe it was possible. Possible, even if only for a moment. But the truth was, Cindy had already moved on. She had remarried, and although Kevin reached out, the reality became painfully clear. She had built a new life, started a new chapter, and didn't look back at the past the way he did. Still, Kevin couldn't shake the feelings. The connection they once shared was powerful, and there were moments when he wished he could turn back time. But time doesn't move backward. It only pushes forward, whether we're ready or not. Cindy had her own life now, and Kevin had to learn to accept that. Yet their friendship remained. They stayed in touch, and Cindy continued to offer him quiet support. They spoke about their kids, about life, and occasionally about the beautiful memories they had shared. Kevin valued those conversations more than words could say. It wasn't about rekindling the past. It was about finding peace in the present. In those quiet, shared moments of laughter and reflection, Kevin began to feel something he hadn't felt in a long time: healing. Cindy didn't try to mend his heart. She simply listened, reminded him of who he once was, and offered the kind of comfort only someone who had truly known him could provide. Kevin came to understand that not every love story ends with a dramatic reunion. Sometimes, love simply transforms into friendship, into mutual respect, into a bond that quietly endures even after everything changes. That bond helped Kevin begin to feel lighter, not because the pain had disappeared, but because he had someone who understood. Someone who had once shared the same dreams and walked the same path. Healing, he realized, doesn't always come with grand gestures or sweeping changes. Sometimes it comes in the smallest, most honest moments, surrounded by the people who truly matter. Still, Kevin had to face reality. His past with Cindy was over. His second divorce from Christine was still fresh, and the wounds were deep. Cindy had her own life, and he couldn't change that. But their lasting friendship helped him find a new kind of peace. And now, at 68, Kevin isn't chasing the dating scene. His focus on fixing what needs healing, within himself and within his family. As a single father once again, many wonder what the future holds for Kevin Costner's love life. After 2 painful divorces, especially the recent one with Christine Baumgartner, the heartbreak has left deep marks, the kind that don't fade overnight. But Kevin seems to be facing it with a renewed perspective. Some fans think his recent remarks about Cindy Silver mean his clinging to the past. But those closest to him believe otherwise. They say Kevin isn't stuck. He's reflecting, honoring what was, and making peace with it. Even so, he hasn't closed the door on love. He remains open, knowing that people are meant to share life with someone special. His heart bears the scars, yes, but it's not closed. Today, Kevin's focus is on his children and his passion project, Horizon, but is also leaving space for healing, for hope, and maybe, just maybe, for love to find him again. What do you think of Kevin's love life? Do you believe he made the right choice in divorcing Cindy? And how do you think he's handled the heartbreak over the years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more real stories behind Hollywood's biggest legends.